All right.
And we are live. Woo!
Do you have to do the "We Are Live" thing every time?
Okay, we're not live. Okay,
No, we're live, but Jesus Christ, that yell! Oh my God!
Oh yeah. So how you been, man? I mean, like we've been so busy. We just like, man, I've been busy with work. How about you, man?
I've been busy with other things. As for what we're doing with the derailed, choo choo. Ouch.
That's why we call ourselves Total Chaos Podcast.
So anyhow, E3 has happened a while ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we were trying to we tried to do this last week, but no, you were busy. Okay, I understand. You got to help your parents out with their new computer or something.
Oh, it was worse than that. Much worse. Her original PC just was not working the way it should and was overheating, and so we had to do a whole bunch of stuff to get it fixed, and it ended up not being a good thing to fix, so we had to send it back.
Oh man, that's what I hate. You expect it to be one small problem, then it turns out to be a several $100 repair bill.
Yeah. Anyhow, we ended up getting a Dell.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, dude, we got a Dell. I swear to God, people, we were not endorsed by Dell, nor were we paid to say that. I just wanted to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of my teachers having a Dell. I was like, oh man, that's awesome.
But anyhow, so did you watch E3? Of course you did, but what was your thoughts?
Okay. First of all, let's get out the most boring convention or the press conference. I had to say was EA's. I mean, like,
the only good thing to come out of EA was the Star Wars game, and that's stretching it by quite a bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, oh wow, a 15-minute demo and 15 minutes of chit-chatting on when where does it take place. Oh yeah, we know most of the games take between episode 3 and 4. I mean, like, give us something else. I mean, give us something like Knights of the Old Republic, please.
Well, here's the thing. Technically, what they did was not wrong. They did exactly what they needed to do. They showed off the new trailer. They showed off good amounts of gameplay of the story and laid down a premise for the beginning of the game. But the problem was half the content they showed outside of the gameplay or half the content they talked about was shit we already knew.
Yeah, I mean, we knew from last year it's going to take place between 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Outside of the gameplay, we really didn't have anything new out of this conference for Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, well, they showed off their you can actually freeze the blast and some this and as well as some other things with this time-lapse fidget thing. I mean, like, that was the only cool thing about the demo. You can freeze things and it just holds it there for you for a period of time.
Right. Yeah. None of the other games really caught my eye. Apex Legend, bleh. Battlefield 5, bleh. The Sims 4, there's still a Sims going on. Why hasn't that died yet?
Same here. I've been wondering since the last time we had a Sims game.
Yeah, I was like,
that was like a few years back.
That turd is still roasting. Are you kidding me? Get it off the grill. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the worst thing ever.
Okay, FIFA 20, the FIFA series, that's FIFA and Madden both. That's Electronic Arts thing, but we're not going to talk about that. That's just, yeah. The only real thing
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
the only thing.
They're two big cash cows. Is their sports games.
Oh God, yeah, but we're not going to go into that because EA is not really that worth talking about this time around. However, the next one, Microsoft. Ha ha!
Oh yeah.
Oh boy! Now the biggest thing that I liked from Microsoft wasn't its new games, wasn't its new console that they announced, and most certainly wasn't their new live streaming service that they announced. It was their new subscription package. The
Subscriptions.
Oh,
Do
no,
I
no, no.
need any more?
Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Oh my gosh. So Game Pass Ultimate, what it does, you're basically getting $30 value, okay? You pay $15 a month. You get Xbox Game Pass for any Xbox device. You get you get Xbox Gold subscription, so you get games with gold, you get your online access and all that. And then a brand new contender on top of that, Microsoft Windows Game Pass, which is totally blowing my mind right now because this is the first time that they've come up with something that I really wanted. Finally,
Yay! Something that you want from Microsoft other than the games console.
well, here's the thing. This allows me to have a decent library of games that, as long as I'm paying the monthly subscription, I just instantly have access to and could just play my heart out on PC. God dang it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like most of them are probably gonna be like first party exclusives, but I bet there'll probably be a good, decent third party support. But who knows? I mean, with Microsoft right now.
And the best thing is that they started the subscription that day. And I'm already a subscriber.
Oh, good.
They don't have too many games on there as of yet, but they've got quite a few to select from.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, like, their Game Pass, for me, I didn't start. I mean, like, I had it for a while because, okay, let's see what games I can get into. But, yeah, that's where it introduced me to The Division, which I bought eventually. It's a good, deep game, especially the story. I mean, like, I'm playing here and there. I mean, like, I'm satisfied with, that to be like a gateway into actually purchasing, some good games here and there. But who knows what it could go through in the next year or two.
And the nice thing about Game Pass is, at least on Xbox, all the major first-party in-house titles for Microsoft, they will all premiere on Game Pass. Every last Microsoft title will premiere on Game Pass.
That kind of sold me a bit, but I mean, like that has to be a plus with them on Game Pass.
That means that as long as you subscribe to Game Pass, you have access to the latest games without having to pay a fee outside of your subscription.
Yeah, I think having a decent stuff like something like that is a good idea, but it's like they'll constantly take games off and put new ones on, which I think is a good idea to do.
Now, Halo Infinite was a game that I wanted to know more about, but they didn't go into much detail.
Yeah, I felt that they were just like teasing, hey, it's still coming. I mean, but it could be a next-gen game. But
they did mention one thing, and this is the critical important thing because they kind of lost themselves with the last Halo game, and that is you play as Master Chief again.
That should have been the whole game, like because if you have like a debate on which is better, 2 or 5, because you both play two different sides of the same story in the same game, I bet he'll say Halo 2 because you play it as the Arbiter.
Well, here's the thing. I liked the idea of 2 where you played both sides, but at least for a good portion of the game, I got to play as Master Chief. With 5, you don't play as Master Chief hardly at all.
Yeah, that was the biggest complaint about 5. You don't play Master Chief that long, so that's probably
Mm-hmm.
why it wasn't that good. So that's why they're saying, "Oh, you just want to play as Master Chief from beginning to end? Boom, here you go. Be,
Right.
be happy."
Now, another game that I was pleased to announce, and I'm surprised that Microsoft was the one who announced this. I thought that Ubisoft or someone else would have the privilege of announcing this, but Microsoft did it first. And that was Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Whenever The Last Jedi came out, which was episode 8, I was waiting and waiting and waiting for Lego Star Wars Episode 8. And it never came. And so I was like, okay, you did The Force Awakens, but not the last. Where is it? And then this springs on us, that's going to be releasing in 2020 after the release of The Rise of Skywalker,
Yeah,
Episode 9.
yeah, I was a little shocked to see that, but it's just going to be another Lego themed Star Wars game.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
We all know what to expect from Lego Star Wars. It's going to be nice to have everything in one complete set.
Oh yeah, have the entire saga in one disc. Yay! That's going to be
Well,
interesting.
maybe not one disc, but definitely in one download.
Well, yeah, that will be probably way too big for a disc, but who knows? Because it's going to be definitely be interesting to play because we don't know how long it's going to how long the game's going to
If
be.
Lego Star Wars if Lego Star Wars Complete Edition, or should I say the complete saga originally, which contained 1 through 6, can fit on a DVD, I think Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga can fit on a Blu-ray.
I'm betting it could, but they're probably going to find some magical way to have some updates to make the
Right.
graphics look better.
Speaking of graphics and updates, oh my god, for the first time in what feels like forever, Microsoft Flight Simulator is back!
A flight simulator game. Why did we always have to...
Come on, dude! I love Flight Simulator. I was killed in the gonads whenever I heard that Flight Simulator was dead.
God. Okay. If you think Goat Simulator is bad, this is probably ridiculous.
Oh, come on. I loved Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the day. Flight Simulator 98, Flight Simulator 2000, Flight Simulator 2003. Problem is, after like 2003, 2006, it just died. No more Flight Simulator. I was like, what?
I wonder why.
Where's my FS? Where's my Flight Sim? Now, there might have been one like 2010, but I don't think that there was anything past that. I was like, for at least 5 to 9 years now, we've been waiting for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and nothing came out of the woodwork until today.
I don't mind simulators, Oh, I want to experience what a truck driver experience. Okay, how about experience a hijacking or something? How about that?
Right. But here's the thing. I'm glad it's back. I'll just have to see how it is, but yeah, I'm glad it's back. Now, there was, I don't know. Microsoft really does like their Forza Horizon stuff, but oh yeah, there was one other game that I was really surprised to see. Battletoads?
Oh God. Okay, I grew up on Battletoads on the original Nintendo. Okay, when I heard that famous pause music, I'm like, oh, Battletoads!
And then, yeah.
Okay, it does look a little weird and cartoony, but
Mhm.
I'll give it. I mean, it could be a prank, but it better be. I think Microsoft's maybe pulling our chains, but oh, here's some cartoony graphics. Oh, here.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I think. I think that this could be the. I think what we got could be official gameplay and the graphics, so, but
Mhm.
I don't. I will not be surprised if they actually change it to be more 3D ish
Mhm.
or 2.5D ish. But I think it just pretends on what Microsoft wants Rare to do with the art design. But I, other than that, I'm not against what they're going for right now.
Right. Now, moving on. Before we talk about Bethesda, oh God, uh, there's one little company that seems to have sprouted quite a few goodies. Take Two Interactive or 2K Games. Uh,
Oh yeah, those
but,
two.
but before we talk about the biggest contender here, probably the biggest contender for 2019
Oh yeah.
in a long time, let's talk about the Outer Worlds. Basically, Fallout done right.
Oh yeah. I'm not too keen on that game, but it does look interesting that I may want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not 100% sure yet because, I mean, once I start seeing some trailers and some, more gameplay and all, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll get behind it. But right now, I'm iffy with that, but it could be a good game, but I just got to see more gameplay and footage from the.
It's an interesting concept. Basically, having a space intergalactic version of Fallout, where it's your survival, role playing, open world, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was never big on the Fallout series. I mean, I played a little bit of Fallout 3, but
Mm-hmm.
it it's just, to me, it felt too much demanding, but I may just go ahead and give it a second try because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if I play it the right way instead of the way I was playing it, I could have a better time playing it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the biggest contender from 2K Games this year, Borderlands 3. Oh my god, I cannot wait for this game. Oh.
Yeah, that I mean, like, it's been rumored to be coming out. It was rumored for years and years. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm just happy to say, hey, it's official. Borderlands 3 is coming out. Yay! Yay!
But it's
Yay!
not. It's not just the fact that it's coming out. It's coming out with a bang. There's so many quality of life features they're introducing that should have been there in the first place. Yes, but oh my god, it's so pleasant, and they really improved the graphics. They improved the gameplay, added even more guns, even though that they already had enough guns already, and then they added even more guns on top of that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, you want more variety in guns? Well, guess what? Now guns have a sub firing mode that you can actually do crazy stuff with. And I was like, oh my god, shut up and take my money.
Well, I mean, I, I, I mean, the first Borderlands was like, I mean, like, their guns in the first one were
Mm-hmm.
okay. The second one, they upped the ante by guns that you can throw and they could explode.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome! And the pre-sequel, it felt the guns felt like a step back, but they were
Mm-hmm.
still pretty good.
Yeah. But we've talked about Borderlands 3 a lot in our past topics, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
So,
let's just do that.
okay, so now Bethesda. Oh, Bethesda.
Hey,
Literally the
are we going to talk about Cyberpunk? It was at Microsoft.
Cyberpunk is not Bethesda.
Well, I say before we go to Bethesda, they were at Microsoft.
Oh, right. CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
So yeah, Microsoft went into some of it. PC Game Show did more of it, but it is worth talking about because yes, it is a big deal. Probably the most anticipated game of 2019 is Cyberpunk 2077.
Actually, it's coming out next year.
Okay, the most anticipated title of the
2020.
Past of 2020. But yeah, all I'm saying is it's already outdoing most anticipated titles for 2019 in terms of amount of anticipation because everyone wants this game in their hands.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should pre-order for my console or my PC. I mean, I'm confused. I want it now.
I know. And then they announced Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
But here was the biggest part that nobody saw coming when once the brand new Cyberpunk 2077 trailer was over, Keanu Reeves is actually in the game.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Everyone in the frigging internet, including you, are going to kill me, but I don't know who the hell this guy is, nor do I understand why everyone has a boner for him.
He started John Wick. He's Neo from the Matrix. He started.
Wait a minute.
He's Bill.
That. Oh God. Wait a minute. So that raggedy Wookiee of a person is Neo?
Yes.
That is not Neo. That is someone who just stuck in a gutter for 20 years and said, "Hey, yeah, I was famous."
Dude, if you don't,
this guy looks like a rock star. He doesn't look like he came out of a goddamn digital world of the Matrix.
I mean, yes. Keanu Reeves started in the Matrix back in the 90s, and he did complete the trilogy with the two somewhat impressive sequels that many people are decisive about.
Dude, ditch the glasses, ditch the beard, ditch the weird-ass hairstyle, and then maybe I'd recognize you.
Well, he did star in Bill and Ted.
Oh. Another show that I was not privy to.
It was a movie.
I know.
and they're finally completing the trilogy because Keanu's actually clean shaven for once.
Oh God. Jesus Christ. Anyhow.
I mean, yeah, Keanu Reeves, big name, because he's in John Wick. I know.
I don't even know what John Wick is.
It's the best action movie in years. Trust me, I've seen 1 and 2. Hopefully soon 3, if they ever come in digitally.
Oh, maybe if maybe if I feel guilty enough, I'll go watch it.
Hey, I got him on my Xbox, so maybe sometime I can show you them.
Oh God. Okay, maybe. Moving on.
Okay, so move on, please.
So Bethesda. First of all, how the hell did they have this much balls to actually show their ugly face after all they've done in the past year?
I mean, like, I was hoping that they will say, hey, we screwed up on Fallout 76. Here's a free update for all your pain and suffering. And they did that.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. The only two games that I even remotely gave a damn about with Bethesda was Wolfenstein Youngblood and Doom Eternal. That was it. That's all they had.
Awesome,
I did not give a damn about the Death Loop. I did not give a damn
Creepy.
about Elder Scrolls. I
Okay.
certainly didn't give a damn about the new Nuclear Winter expansion for Fallout
Oh
76.
God.
I didn't give a damn about Ghostwire. I didn't give a damn about Wolfenstein Cyberpilot VR. I mean, great. Wolfenstein is in VR. What's everything's going VR? Tell me something else that's new. And
Well.
then I was dramatically insulted with them taking one of my all-time favorite classic PC
Uh
games, Commander Keen, and turning
huh.
it into that piss-poor piece of S Android and iOS mobile
Oh
phone
God!
series. Really?
Oh God! Let me say this: when I saw Commander King trailer, I was like, "Okay, this looks like Commander King. This has got to be Commander King reboot." And it
Uh-huh.
was a Commander King reboot. I'm like, "Oh man, this is."
Yeah, but then they showed a little bit of gameplay, and all that enthusiasm went down the shitter.
Oh God! I mean, okay. Another fun fact: I actually played. I think I played. I'm not for sure how many installments of Commander Keen there has been, but I know I know I played a few of them. But
There's four.
okay,
Four of them that I know of. There might be a fifth and sixth. I'm not sure, but I know that there's definitely four from the DOS era.
yeah, I remember playing a couple of them, but I don't remember how many of them because it's been such a long time.
Well, I own them. I own them on PC. I mean,
Oh, good.
and you can get them on Steam and goodoldgames.com. So,
Okay, I'll definitely buy them when I get done
yeah,
talking to
trust
you.
me, it's worth every penny.
uh,
And it's worth a lot more than this Android garbage.
I was kind of surprised that they're going the Android route with that. I mean, it kind of confused me a little bit, but I feel like I know what they're going to try to do. I know what they're going to try to sell this as. It's
Uh,
and I was like disappointed, but I was hoping that there will be that they may hopefully maybe have a PC version.
Here's the thing. They're capitalizing on nostalgia. Nostalgia alone to sell this Android. What it is Bethesda's trying to get into the portable market with Android, and they're wanting to launch off some of their biggest games from the past, like Commander Keen. The problem is they done wrong with this one. The game's not enjoyable, the aspect is horrible, and the story is almost non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, I bet there probably if there's a demand of it, they'll probably port it to PC, but I highly doubt it right now. But
I hope not. I will be offended if that thing touches the PC market.
well, they're probably going to make it more PC friendly, but who knows? Bethesda's been known to pull some weird stuff before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but anyhow, then a more recent contender that's been in the that's been in the E3 presentation for past couple of years at least is the PC Game Show.
I have not. I think I've seen bits of the last year's, but I almost like. I mean, like they're probably going to sell all these fancy parts ever between their the demos,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to get me to buy a PC, which they kind of did, but who knows? And I don't really care if they did or did not. But yeah, I understand kind of why PC has their own, E3 press conference there. But I just been that's always been one convention I'm not or press conference to see because I just don't seem to be interested
But
in.
there's a caveat to this year's PC Game Show. Anyone who watched the PC Game Show will notice a little icon just underneath and to the right of the title sponsored and endorsed by Epic Games Store.
Oh, great. That's
And
interesting.
it's worse than interesting. Turns out over 80% of the games that they announced at PC Game Show are Epic exclusives.
God. Okay. I'm going to keep saying this. If Epic owns the properties, then yes, I see why they want it to be
Hmm.
exclusive. But if they're third party developers having all having faith in one mark, one system, software, whatever you
Hmm.
want to call it, it's kind of suicidal. I mean, it makes no sense to me. So I mean, I can say, oh, only on Xbox. Okay, Xbox owns the company that develops it. Yeah,
Hmm.
understandable. Uh, Only on Sony. Okay, Sony owns that company. Understandable. What else do you want us to know? I
I
mean,
know.
I mean, like, I'm gonna keep saying this. This is career suicide for Epic.
Well, believe it or not, they're making enough money off of it, but as the, and the reason why I say that is because there's one game alone that is funding this BS. Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Fortnite. Yep, I actually played it for a little bit. Don't like it.
You may not like it, but I guarantee you are in the heavy minority.
Oh yeah, God. I don't care if my positions are in the minority or majority. I don't care what you think. If I
Hmm.
don't like it, I don't like it.
Now, there were two games that were announced. I do not know if these games are going to be Epic exclusive or not, but the two games that were slightly interesting. Uh, Before I sound, of course, they talked about Borderlands 3, but we've talked about that oodles. Okay, we spoil you, Borderlands. Understand this. Um, uh, but anyhow, the two games interesting: Baldur's Gate 3 and Shinmu 3.
Shimu. As far as I know, Shimu 3 is going to be exclusive from what I've been hearing.
And funny thing was, if I'm remembering correctly, uh, I heard that Shinmu was not going to be an Epic exclusive until after E3, and they just kind of pulled it under the rug on people.
Okay, if it's not no longer an Epic Store exclusive, then I can get
No, 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 no,
behind
no, no,
it.
no. I meant. I'm talking about that. That originally it was supposed to be a Steam release, and then they pulled Epic exclusive at the E3 event without telling anyone prior.
Oh, my bad.
And then quickly changing everything on their GoFundMe page. So I'm pretty sure Young Yak covered it.
Yeah, I subscribe to Young Yang now, but I have been checking them out because I've been I've been paying attention to a lot of other things that's been going on.
That's not surprising. Baldur's Gate 3, it's an interesting game. Not my cup of tea, but I mean, if people seem to be wanting it, so
I I think I think I remember Baldur's Gate, but I don't know too much about it because I don't pay that much attention to games that I'm not into. But yeah, I know it exists. So that's
yeah,
I'm acknowledging it, but it's just been kind of hard to acknowledge a game
right.
that you don't play. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I know. Anyhow, moving on. So Square Enix. Oh man! Square Enix hit it out of the ballpark, hit it out of the they just one throw of the bat. The all bases are loaded. They throw the ball. The bat hits the ball and it shoots off into the sky. It goes past the stadium, past the arena, past the parking lot, past the city, past the state, past the nation, into the stratosphere, and it's gone out of the solar system because, dear God, did they have a strong lineup?
Yeah, I felt. I mean, they gave us a release date for Final Fantasy VII, which nerds been complaining for over a decade. Don't get me started on that, people, please. I do not care about how long you've been waiting. It's finally coming, so save up your money and buy it already.
Now,
Sheesh.
the thing is about Final Fantasy VII, they showed us heavy amounts of gameplay this time. And
Oh yeah.
oh my God, they even treated us to a boss battle or two.
Yes, finally, I saw some live gameplay, or at least I
Mm,
think, or some decent.
I don't care if it was live gameplay or not. I mean,
Yeah,
it was,
it was epic. I can tell you
uh-huh.
that.
Yeah, it was epic without being coming from the Epic Game Store. Epic Game Store doesn't do epic.
Yeah.
Okay, so but anyhow, all jokes aside, it was an amazing announcement. And now, as much as I know that Final Fantasy VIII is just the most popular, Final Fantasy VII is the most popular Final Fantasy out there, one of the announcements from Square Enix that my personal favorites, they left it out in the past set of remasters, and they finally did it this year. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Oh my God! And not only did not only did they remaster it, but they're releasing it on all my favorite platforms: PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam, guaranteed.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I kind of knew that. I remember hearing the music that said, "This sounds like a Final Fantasy VIII song or track." I was like, "Oh, they actually did it! Yay!"
Anyone who's listening to this, if you don't know what we're talking about, we will include a link to the actual trailer for the Final Fantasy VIII Remastered that includes the audio commentary from people screaming in the background.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hate to say this, but this was probably Square Enix's best, press conference at E3.
Oh yeah, in a long time.
Well, excluding that one that got kind of weird because especially when that one guy was wearing a moon face mask thing.
Oh God, those were the dark days. No, don't bring me back to that place, Mommy. I don't want to go back to that place. It's so bad. It scares me, Mommy. It scares me, Mommy. Please, no, Mommy. I don't want to go to the bad people. Please, I don't want to.
I was like, is this guy high or something?
No, I'm high on it. Jesus Christ.
I mean, like this guy is either hiding his face because he doesn't want to be hated for. I don't remember what game he was, he was showing up, but it was weird.
Right.
It's been a couple of years.
Now that's not to say that that Square Enix didn't have a few clunkers here and there. Like for instance, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Dear God, why?
I vaguely remember that game. I mean, I know it
was horrible on the GameCube.
Oh yeah,
terrible.
I couldn't remember. I knew it came. I was thinking, was this a GameCube game or
here's what was going on with the here's what was going on with the GameCube. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was you could play it with one GameCube controller. The rest for multiplayer, you had to have 3 other Game Boy Advance to GameCube port link cables and 3 other Game Boy Advance systems in order to play multiplayer. I'm not kidding. You were
gotta be
locked into
kidding!
single
Oh
player, and all
God!
you had was GameCube controllers. You were locked into single player.
My
So
goodness! I mean,
terrible.
I think I remember some of the reviews for that game, and people hated it.
Of course, because people didn't want to have to go out and buy a portable system just to play two-player on a game that has 4 ports on it.
I swear, Nintendo was doing some weird stuff with the GameCube at times.
Yes, they were, but we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about the Switch or anything else that
yeah,
Nintendo
yeah, yeah,
has. Yeah, or
yeah.
what else
But
can from
so,
Square.
so, so let's just go real quick over Square Enix. Final Fantasy
Okay.
VII Remastered finally announced.
Yes.
Crystal Chronicles. Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Final Fantasy VII remake. Final Fantasy VIII remastered. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers on PC. The expansion.
That sounds
Circuit
good.
Superstars. You know,
What?
yeah. It's a part of Square Enix collective editions, whatever. War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, Romance Saga 3, Scarlet Grace, Dragon Quest Builders 2. Oh my God, they're actually doing something with Dragon Quest and something
Finally.
yeah. The Last Remnant Remastered coming to Nintendo Switch. And then Trials of Mana Collection of Mana also coming to Nintendo Switch.
The Last Remnant. I think I played that for a while, and I was like, "This is a Square Enix game." This is. I mean, yeah, it was just, in my opinion, not one of the best Square Enix games that they have in their library.
But yeah, so it's need not be said, Square Enix had a good lineup this year. It was definitely really good. Now, granted, so did Microsoft.
Microsoft had a good lineup.
Microsoft, Square Enix, and Nintendo. Personally, just saying this right now, those three right there were the big heavy hitters this year.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, like, I did find the Nintendo Direct E3 kind of humorous, especially with Bowser.
Yeah. We'll not go into that just yet. We're almost there. Okay, we're almost there.
Okay.
So anyhow, we're done now with Square Enix. Now, briefly, before we talk about Ubisoft, let's talk about the guy that was not there, Sony. Oh my God, Sony didn't even have an E3. What's their segment called
State
now?
Of play? State of play?
Yeah, they didn't have an E3 State of Play. They were just absent.
You know, here's what I think. I think Sony did a smart thing and not come this year because, I mean, some of the biggest stuff they had is already out, and people are getting, they're already talking about the specs on the PlayStation 5. I think that was a good idea, but next year they better be dropping good game after good game after good game that are like for the PlayStation 5, because that's what they have to do to be, in the, oh my God, here, let me take out a loan just to buy your system, please.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I personally believe the reason why they bowed out of E3 this year was to avoid getting slammed by the community for not hardly having anything to show, and literally for all the other things that they've been doing wrong, like crossplay, the controversy with their crossplay, the controversy with them screwing over their PlayStation Plus subscription rewards. Yeah. By the way, Google that down below. They swapped one of the PlayStation Plus rewards last second without even telling the company that owned the game. So yeah,
we talked about before we recorded. Yeah, and I was just shocked to hear that.
Yeah, it was a Konami game, and basically what it was Konami's PES 2019, which was a soccer game, and for the longest time, for at least a week, PlayStation announced that was going to be the main the main grab for PlayStation Plus free games for July. Now, guess what? Literally 4 to 6 hours before they go live with the free games, they completely abandoned PES 2019 and put in Detroit Become Human instead. And they didn't even tell Konami that they were doing this. Konami didn't find out until after the backlash hit them the next morning.
Okay. I think that, that it was probably a mistake or something, or some idiot didn't think, oh, this game won't sell, or it won't. No, people won't get this game. We're just going to put a popular game that we know that will get free. People will download left and right. They probably did something like that. I mean, it was probably some idiot and Sony that was just being a jerk.
The problem is that Konami actually had to make a statement because everyone was blaming Konami, and Konami had to say, hey, guys, wasn't our fault. We didn't even know about it. It was actually Sony who made the decision.
Yeah, blame Sony. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's retarded that they would advertise for so long that it was going to be this one thing, and then literally the second before they put it up on the servers, yep, hot swap. Bait and switch.
Oh yeah, it just shows the lack of communication between companies half the time. I mean, like, can you just say, hey, shoot them an email, like say the day before, say, hey, we're going to switch your game with another game. We'll make it to you by saying next month will be one of your games. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like. It's. I mean, I just want to ask Sony what the hell they're thinking.
Yeah, I know. Now, moving on, because I mean, so basically, with all that going on, and there's other things too to blame Sony for. Literally, Sony is on the edge of despair at this point. They've really got nothing to show for it, and they've got everything for people to blame them for. So that and Nintendo Switch has been really kind of taking over their domain anyway. So
yeah, I mean, with their policy changing here and there on on this and that, and not many people thinking their policy are consumer friendly. Blah blah blah. I get it. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just with Xbox now improving drastically, Nintendo improving drastically, and Sony just like, yeah, we'll only improve if we get enough complaints. Yeah, that's not good enough.
But, yeah, it'll be amazing to me if Sony really changes their tone in the next couple months. But who knows?
To me, it'd be if they change their tone by the end of the year. So. But yeah, anyhow, moving on. So Ubisoft. Oh boy, Ubisoft. Now, here's the thing. With Ubisoft, I like the Division 2 that they not Division 2, Watch Dogs Legion. Sorry, I keep thinking Division 2 is Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs is Division 2. What the
fuck? Okay. Well, here's the problem with Ubisoft. Most of their games are pretty much the same. I mean, they feel the same, but with a few tweaks here and there, but a different genre or different setting. I get it, but
now
I from time to time, yeah, I do confuse one Assassin's Creed game with another because, especially that one Ezio Auditore trilogy, yeah, I kind of get it. Now,
I will say this much, though. Ubisoft did come swinging with a lot, and I mean a lot, of Android and iOS games. It wasn't easy swallowing that, but At least they still had a lot of other games. Like, let's see here,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That was a good. Oh, wait a minute, that was already released. Oh shit.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was last year's
Yeah,
game.
yeah. And so, oh well, they've got Division 2. I mean, that's great. Oh, wait a minute, that was released already. Oh shit.
They talked about the DLC or the free updates or something that's coming.
Okay, so Ghost Recon Breakout. That's got to be a new one, right?
Yeah, that's a new one.
Oh, well, what about For Honor? That was good, but wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. For Honor's already been announced. Was half of these games just basically rehash of good DLC or already released game? What the heck's going on here?
Okay, most of it was just DLC, and yeah, I kind of say, yeah, the game's popular, the game's doing good. Yeah, release some good DLC, but Ubisoft this year was a little disappointing, but it was still decent. But it wasn't like the shiny golden
I'm sorry.
nugget.
The game that stole the show for me for Ubisoft was Watch Dogs Legion's gameplay of old lady Granny going up and assassinating someone and said, "Yeah, where's the next bad guy?" Oh my God! Go Granny! Go Granny!
If I remember right, I think she was the ex-spy because there was an
yeah. That's the nice thing. You can recruit anybody. You can recruit anybody in that game, including an old granny of 92. Oh my God! It was unbelievable seeing an old granny 92 take down someone in his 30s and just be like, "Yeah, you old whippersnapper, take that! I killed many of you in my day. Oh yeah, you gone, boy."
Well, I mean, like, I've never been. I mean, like, I'm thinking about now maybe getting into the Watch Dogs because I think I got the first game for free with games to go, so I figure, hey, why not? Just play, see if I like it. If I like it, I'll continue supporting this amazing franchise. Hey.
Here's the thing: the moment that made me crack up like crazy was the moment whenever I saw old Granny after she assassinated the guy holding a pistol and say, "Who's next?" Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I don't know how many characters you can have.
Well, we don't know exactly how many characters are in the game.
We don't know. I mean,
but from the illusion, at least, from what they have unveiled, there is seemingly almost a limitless supply of characters you can go through.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, it's like unlimited amount of people you can recruit.
Mm-hmm. And every single person in the city has their own identity, their own profile, unique story background, and you can recruit anybody.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting because you don't know who's going to be the best, for this type of mission.
If they can pull that off, it's instantly going to be one of my top 5 favorite games of 2019.
I think that if they can have variety types of characters, like here's a stealth character, here's a powerhouse, here's a hybrid who's can kick ass and hack hack some kind of bank and or hack an ATM gives me a whole lot of money for no reason. I mean, like I can get behind those type of characters, but it just depends on how good they can bring out the characters in each other. Because if they have like hundreds of thousands of characters, that's going to be interesting to try to see if they can actually pull that off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, before we move on to the final one, which is Nintendo, yay! I just want to cover a few that we missed. Like there were some that Sega announced that during Xbox's and Nintendo's events. First of all, Phantasy Star Online 2. Holy God! Phantasy Star Online coming back after how many years?
Probably since like the original Xbox. I don't know. Oh wait a minute.
Oh no!
No.
It wasn't Xbox. It was GameCube.
Oh,
GameCube.
yeah, it was on the GameCube. Yeah,
GameCube and PS2, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, you're probably right because I mean, like I knew it was like I knew it was probably had to be at least the PS2 era, but I couldn't remember if it was on the PS2 or just the Xbox because I can't pay attention to every damn game.
I don't think that Phantasy Star Online was on Xbox. I could be wrong. People. I could be wrong.
I think there was maybe an arcade on Xbox Live version. I'm not for sure. I have to check, but who knows?
But also Panzer Dragoon, for God's sakes, a remastered version of Panzer Dragoon, the only game that I knew of in that era that was on-rail shooter just like Star Fox, only it was original Xbox, and now it's on Switch?
Man, I've heard how good that game is. I want to play that Panzer Dragoon game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have it listed: Phantasy Star Online, Dreamcast, PC, GameCube, and Xbox. It was not on. It was not on PlayStation.
Okay,
which is surprising.
Yeah, because I mean, there's been so many games in the last decade. I forget about these older ones. Man, where am I paying attention to these older games?
I don't know. But I'm excited for Panzer Dragoon on the Switch. I'm excited for Phantasy Star Online 2 for the Xbox. God dang it, that's going to be cool. And then moving on, like Namco. Namco had a few that was good. Like, maybe not a few, maybe just one. And that was definitely Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Man. Another Dragon Ball game. I wonder if I can actually play it because I don't know.
I just hope to God that it's going to be what I think it's going to be, and that is like Dragon Ball Xenoverse style gameplay, only telling the original story of Dragon Ball Z straight from the beginning to end.
So far, it only goes up to the Namek storyline. Other than that, that's the furthest I think it goes.
Well, I don't know if they don't, because I guarantee you, if it goes to Namek, then that means it goes into the Frieza saga. After the Frieza saga, you have quite a few more things into it. Like you've got the Garlic Jr., then you've got the Android saga, and then you've got a few other things down the road. Now, here's what I think. If the main story only goes to the end of the Frieza saga, then they could add on other stories as part of a DLC or season pass, which I wouldn't be objective to that. I would actually think that would be okay.
Well, I only heard, like, of course, yes, it only goes with the Frieza story, but it could go maybe, I'm saying maybe, at least to the Android saga, because not many people consider the Garlic Jr. part, canon, because some people think it's filler. So I'm not 100% sure on what, if they're going to just base it off the manga or the cartoon show. So it could be up in the air. I don't know. I mean, like,
we will have to see what they do. All that we know is that they released a tidbit teaser trailer, and that's it. I know that it's probably going to be a 2020 release, and I can't wait for it. The possibilities are skyrocketing in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with my prediction is if they go to the Namek storyline or Frieza's storyline, how much are they going to take from the cartoon show or from the anime, or from how much are they going to take from the manga? Because see, it's like I said, not many people consider certain storylines canon because it's filler. So that's just the question: how much is actually going to be in the game? I mean,
Right.
it's only up to the Frieza story, but after that, it's up in the air because we don't know what's going to be in it because we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But anyhow, so now let's move on to the final category, Nintendo. Okay, so
Nintendo,
oh boy,
yay!
I'm going to list every single game right now that they have announced for Nintendo, except for the final one because that was a huge release. So let's go down the list here. Luigi's Mansion 3, new trailer, release date, all the works. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Yes, I know there's some controversy about it. Boo hoo, move on. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening as a 3D remastered remake on the Switch. Holy God, that is amazing. It's one of my favorite Zelda games. Super Mario Maker 2. They released a new trailer for that, which, by the way, that's already out now. So, yeah, it's a good game. Astral Chain, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order, Cadence of Hyrule. It's like a Crypt of the Necro Dancer featuring the Legend of Zelda Fire. It's this indie title that looks like Zelda, but you move with the beat of the music.
Oh, I see.
It's weird, and they finally got permission to use some of the sprites from Legend of Zelda in the game, and so they unveiled that at E3. It was pretty fun. Then the long-awaited Fire Emblem Three Houses, Dragon Quest XI S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition, Dragon Quest Builders 2. By the way, so coming to North America via Nintendo Switch. No More Heroes 3. Oh my God. I have not played the No More Heroes series, but I know of its legacy, and it is fantastic. No More Heroes 3 was something that no one expected.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, there was No More Heroes 1 and 2 were pretty well received. I mean, like, people loved them. I mean, I don't know why they are not waiting, like, who knows how many years after the last one.
It's Nintendo. They wait however they want to.
I mean, here's my problem. I usually give a game like a 2 to 3 year window to maybe sometimes more because you know how long it takes to develop games. If you give I usually want to wait to see if there's a sequel announced, but sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. So, yeah, I mean, like, we've been waiting for a very long time for a sequel for No More Heroes.
Here's the thing. I will wait as long as 5 years. Anything longer than that, and I consider it either abandoned or someone ain't doing their job right.
I usually, if I haven't heard about a game like say about 2 or 3 years, I will get concerned. But if it's longer than like say 4, I'll say it's probably been canceled or some idiot.
Definitely by 5 years.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, like, definitely not that many. It's definitely not 5 because, but you know, if you wait 5 years for a game, you know it's been canceled.
Right. Okay, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Tokyo 2020. You know they were going to make this game because the Olympics, the Summer Olympics for 2020 takes place in good old Tokyo this year. Well, next year.
Next year. We're going to say they're happening next summer, not this summer.
Oh, and by the way, it's rumored that Mario is going to have a big part in their opening ceremony.
Oh, God, that's going to be interesting to see.
It's a me. But anyhow, anyhow, then Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 also on the Nintendo Switch. Gotta love it.
Uh, 5 and 6 are probably the abomination of this franchise.
I mean, you can look at it however you want. Look at it this way. At least we're getting Resident Evil games on the Switch. That's a plus.
Yeah, I mean, okay. If I was with a Resident Evil fan like my brother, he'll probably say, "Oh, it was an okay game. It didn't have any puzzles. It didn't feel like it felt too actiony because, well, at that time, the movies, the live action movies, were going for a action route, which we all know sucked and it hurt the franchise."
Yes, this is true.
And I'm happy to say that, yes, they are rebooting the movies to be more authentic like the games, to be more horror, which I've been hearing that they're going down. I am happy that all the games should be going horror from now on because we all know horror games do sell if they're done right.
Because if it ain't horror, it ain't no morer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so anyhow, but enough on the Resident Evil. So my games that I personally liked out of the Nintendo presentation was, and we'll talk about the Smash Brothers inclusion in a bit.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So no, don't say it yet.
I'm not saying it.
Okay, so out of the final two things they announced, besides the final two things they announced, which we'll go into in a minute, I personally liked the following. Luigi's Mansion 3. I cannot wait for this because they're finally going back to the formula that made the game great. Or just one giant mansion going through rooms after rooms instead of quests like in the 3DS version. Oh, I hated that system. And then, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I like the idea of bringing it up into a 3D type of world, kind of like the way that they did a Link to the Past. What was that? 2 Dimensions or something? What was it? Come on, help me out here. It was on 3DS.
Yeah.
It was on 3DS.
Yeah, I draw on blank. Too much now music to my head. It caused me to forget shit.
Legend of Zelda.
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2?
No. Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda, two sides, 2 castles, or I'm gonna fall and die alone with the fact that I haven't figured this. Link
I know.
to the Past.
I swear I need to pay more attention to some of these games. But if what are you thinking of a Link?
No, hold on. I'm talking about the A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, Link Between. Yeah, Link Between Worlds. What the hell? I sometimes forget about that game.
Now, what the nice thing about Link Between Worlds is the fact that they took A Link to the Past, updated it for 3D graphics, and then just still kept the top overview angle. And that's what they did with a Link's Awakening. Only they did it on a much more powerful system, which is nice. And yes, I know I've heard the backlash. Oh, now we need one for A Link to the Past. And I'm like, oh, God, come on. They already did it. What, you want more Link to the Past games? Fine. Get in line.
Here's what I think. Demanding old games to be remade, it does get kind of old. I mean, yes, people have been demanding a lot of games that I wish I could run off and explain why, but unfortunately, that will take way too long. So let me just say, I understand what these people are coming from, but it seems that constantly demanding old games to be remade for new systems is just getting ridiculous.
It's not that the old games for new systems it's getting ridiculous. It's the fact that people are demanding more and more games for just one game. It was like, oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Well, by the way, we had Wind Waker. We had Wind Waker on the Wii. Oh, now you want a Wii U version? Okay. Now you want a Switch version? Hey, hold on. We're not going to keep remaking the same game. Okay.
Yeah, like I remember Wind Waker being on the GameCube, if I remember
It was
right.
on the GameCube, and then it was on the Wii as a remastered
Yeah,
version.
it was remastered for the Wii. Then they had,
Or was it the Wii U? I don't know.
I think it was the Wii.
Yeah.
I said I thank people, so don't criticize me for being wrong. Uh, I could be wrong, but I think it was remastered for the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's. I mean, games constantly getting ported to newer and better systems
Mm-hmm.
does
Yeah,
make a whole lot of sense
I
for
was
some
wrong.
people.
It was only made for the Wii U and the GameCube. So yeah,
Okay.
I guess they only remastered it once, but I could have swore that there was another version of it that they came out with, and I was like, ugh, God, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
games have been constantly remade. I mean, like how many times have I'm Resident Evil 4. How many games have games been ported to different systems? Originally for the
mhm,
GameCube. Oh, then it was ported to PS2. Oh, you
mhm,
want an HD version of Resident Evil 2? Oh, now it's on the PS3 and Xbox 360. Oh, wait, now we can play it on Xbox One and PS4. Yay!
mhm.
How many times these games gotta be remastered and ported?
I know it really is like a living cliche.
I know. I mean, like, can you please come up with some new games? Capcom, Nintendo, somebody, please keep porting your old
Hmm.
games to newer consoles, please.
Hmm. Now, for Pokemon Sword and Shield, yeah, I'll dive into it. It's just a short bit. I like the idea that you can see things in the grass. Oh, that is so nice. I like the idea that they're updating the graphics to be more of an open world kind of game. It's really
That's
nice,
good.
but I'm still not sold on the whole idea of the new Pokemon. Really, you want Bugs Bunny as a starter Pokemon? Ugh.
Uh, I, uh, I can see why it's popular because cute cuddly creatures that look
Mm-hmm.
funny. Oh, that involve two bigger, more powerful creatures. Yay! I at times I could see. I mean, like I kind of like the original generation,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
not the modern updated.
My favorite Pokemon game of all time is Pokemon Yellow.
I had some cousins my cousins from California.
Mm-hmm.
Shameless plug. Not to get things shaking like an earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. But I mean, I played a little bit. I can see why a child or anyone that likes the anime or the card game. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can see why people like it. It's fun, simple, nothing too extreme. But I just never really got that deep into it. So I'm just gonna say, if you like the Pokemon games, play them. Don't care.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of the same way. Moving on. Super Mario Maker 2, yes, I know it's already been released technically a couple days ago, but back then it was not released yet. And I'm going to say this. From what I saw at E3, I was liking the way it was going. I liked the idea of introducing the Cat Mario. and a few other things that they did, like, oh, for the love of God, thank you for actually adding the ability to make slopes. Come on. That should have been there in the beginning.
That's not a cat. That's a Tanuki suit, if I remember right.
No. I'm talking about from Super Mario 3D World, the cat suit. Yeah, they added that into Super Mario Maker 2.
I thought that was the Tanuki suit, or
no.
I mean,
Tanuki suit's in it too.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, but anyhow, the one thing that I really appreciated was the fact that they finally added the ability to make diagonal slopes. You know, those smooth diagonal slopes instead of the stairs?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Like in my
that should have been there 3. That should have been there in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, what were you guys thinking?
Let's not try to rip off Angry Video Game Nerd.
let's try to keep it original at least.
Yeah, Angry Video Game Nerd, if you hear us, we would love to be on your show, but we are not going to steal your thunder.
Why would we?
I don't think we could. Anyhow, so now that we've talked about pretty much the biggest things, well, I mean, yes, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, but that you're beating on a dead horse there. It's been talked over and over. What else can you discuss with that?
The Fire Emblem games are okay, but I mean, it's not my cup of tea, so let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Astral Chain, that was an interesting one, having to use 2 different characters at the same time that are chained together. I mean, that's interesting. I don't know. The Dragon Quest Builders 2, oh my gosh, I like the idea of it being kind of like a Minecraft kind of Dragon Quest game, but I don't know. We might have too many of those kind of games. But maybe we don't have enough.
You're probably right about that.
But anyhow, so now it's time to discuss the final 2 things they brought out. What were those things? Well, I'll tell you. First was Super Smash Brothers. You can't have a Nintendo Direct at E3 without a Super Smash Brothers announcement, right? Yeah.
That's true.
So what they did was they announced a brand new character, and by the way, the rumors were true, and your dreams have finally been answered, ladies and gentlemen, Banjo-Kazooie.
Good old Banjo-Kazooie, a classic game for the 64.
I mean, you're talking about, if you want to talk about characters that probably would never have ever have made it into, that should almost been impossible to get into a Nintendo title. Well, the fact that Rare is owned by Microsoft, yeah, there's that. So, Banjo-Kazooie coming back after all these years to a Nintendo console, even if it's just the character, that's still a huge leap.
Yeah, I mean, at times I thought that was a, bear with bird-like wings, or that, and there was something in his backpack. I mean, I couldn't tell because the graphic back then that's really good.
I know, and the way that they introduced him just like they introduced King K. Rool. I loved it.
Yeah, that was something I never thought that could be possible to introduce an amazing character, especially such an iconic one.
It was just so fun. Now the final announcement. Oh boy, the biggest announcement of the entire Direct. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild 2. It's not DLC. It's not an expansion.
Yeah,
it is a sequel game. Sequel game.
Oh yeah, it's an actual sequel game.
No one saw this coming. Now, a lot of people saw this as a new expansion, but I don't think anyone saw this as a new, as a sequel. Now, beat 'em ups might have done it. Beat 'em ups might have done it, but Yeah, YouTuber named Beat 'em Ups. Look him up. He's a lot of fun. Yeah, he might have actually done it. I think he did in his pseudo fake April Fool's Nintendo Direct E3. I think he did mention a sequel, but I purely sure that it was on accident. So
Yeah, I mean, I thought that, oh, okay, here's a Breath of the Wild or expansion. Oh, yeah. But, oh, no, I was wrong. It's an actual sequel. Yay! I was wrong.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of fear they're going to, I mean, after hearing how, good that the Breath of the Wild did, I knew there were going to be a sequel or some kind of expansion, but I didn't expect one, especially this so close.
Exactly, this early. You'd think that they would have waited at least another year or two before announcing Breath of the Wild 2, because you'd think that they want to not take away some of the limelight from some of their other franchises like Luigi's Mansion 3. You got Super Mario Maker 2. You've got Pokemon Sword and Shield. You've got Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. You've got so many games for the new Switch lineup that, I mean, Breath of the Wild 2? You're throwing a time bomb into the whole mix. Now everyone's going to save their money and get Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was surprised that they're even doing a sequel this quick. I mean, usually it's like a couple years after, like more like 3 years after, before they even think about a sequel. But now they're kind of,
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, last year was whenever they announced the final expansion for Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, at least I think they did. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, I mean, like I kind of expected, maybe 1 or 2 years without some kind of Breath of the Wild announcement. But when I saw, another expansion, don't give me this.
And then it turned out to be not another expansion. It was like, wait, what?
Oh yeah, they surprised me with that.
Yeah, I know. It was just all right. So we've talked about EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, PC Game Show, Square Enix, Sony's absence, Ubisoft, Nintendo, and a few random ones here and there.
Yeah, so we talk about pretty much all the big name developers and publishers. So yeah.
So I think we've covered just about everything we need to. Yes, there were a few other shows, but those are really not that critical to the console gaming, like Google Stadia. I mean, it's a nice idea of a streaming service, but I can't see it launching very well with that lag, the input lag. Then AMD, new processors, new graphics cards. What else is there to say? Developer Digital, I've forgotten about them years ago. At this point, all I consider them is as just a company that does a little skit every year. You look at it, it makes no sense, and it just grotesque as hell. So
yeah, I mean, from what I've heard about the Google, console, it kind of reminds me of that Ouya that was.
But that's the thing; it's not a console; it's a streaming service that applies to all devices.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned that it'll be dead on arrival because I mean.
Oh, let's not forget, Ubisoft announced their new games, kind of like their version of Xbox Game Pass subscription.
Yeah.
EA announced a better version of. Yeah, they're all going that route.
Yeah, I kind of fear that it wouldn't be too long that they all have their own streaming services, and I have concerns, but who knows? I mean, like, we could probably talk about that in another podcast, but I just say this: if everybody's going to have their own, some form of streaming services, we all gotta have to pick and choose because I'm not going to spend, let's say yearly they're $30, which ain't bad. But if it's like
10,
10,
20, $30 a month.
yeah, then I say no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
The thing
subscribe to
is,
this.
though, is that you Play Plus, which is the name of it, is $15 a month. But I mean, you're still talking about another streaming service for maybe only a handful of games from that developer that you'd want.
Yeah, I can't see supporting that for too long.
Yeah.
I mean, like if they had like a yearly plan where it's like, if it was like 50 to $60 a year, I may consider it, but not the price they're asking.
At least with Xbox Game Pass, you have first and third party titles.
Yeah, I mean, I think a console streaming services is a whole lot better.
Anyhow, so we need to wrap this up. So, final conclusions. What do you think of this year's E3?
Other than, I really hate to say this, but if I had to pick a winner and a loser, my loser had to be EA because I'm only interested in one of their games that they had, and they had 6 games there, and a third of them were their sports franchises that everybody knows now that they tend to gravitate to a lot. I say EA is the loser. As for a winner, I really hate to say Microsoft because they had a lot of good games, and they actually gave us a release date for Cyberpunk 2077. I had to say Microsoft won it this year. I mean, with us just by a hair. So that's my picks.
Okay, so in my final opinion, I would have to say I thought that that from the rest of the developers, like,
no, I'm gonna eat it. Well, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our private life.
Yeah, my private life.
Okay. Anyhow, in my personal opinion, I think that Ubisoft, the absent Sony, well, okay, not the absent, Ubisoft, PC Game Show, Bethesda, and EA were pretty bad. If I had to choose one of them as the absolute failure, I would have to say it's pretty much a tie between Bethesda and EA for me.
I kind of agree.
Now, the only reason why I don't include Ubisoft in the mix is because Ubisoft had Watch Dogs Legion and some and I know that you're going to tell me that, oh, well, if it's just one game, EA had a good game. And you're right. EA had a good game. The problem is Watch Dogs Legion wowed me more than any other game announced by another third party. So,
yeah, I have to agree with that.
I did not like the idea that both Ubisoft and Bethesda were announcing mobile games. But, I mean, if you really want to go that route, then Ubisoft and Bethesda and EA, all three were a 3-way tie for worst. And that might just be the real case. Because every single one of them has a game I like, but only one. Like, look at Bethesda. Bethesda, my favorite game out of that one is Wolfenstein Youngblood. EA is Star Wars, and Ubisoft is Watch Dogs Legion. And so if you're looking at it that way, then yeah, it's a 3-way tie between EA, Bethesda, and Ubisoft for worst contender. Now, for best contender, oh god. As much as I want to give it to Nintendo and Microsoft, I really think that Square Enix came home with the big win. Only by a very slight margin.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I will definitely say that Microsoft and Nintendo are a really like a hairpin close second. They're in tie for second place, and they're a hairpin within first place, which is Square Enix. So that's just my personal opinion, and I think that I'm not too far off.
Well, here's what I'd say. If I had to say, like, if there was like a second place, Bethesda, they had a good showing, but they really they spend like the first 30 minutes or so just talking about Fallout.
Right.
And I kind of understand why they had to do it. So, I mean, if I was just judging by the games that there was there, the Bethesda was probably a good close second.
Actually, if you really think about it, it could be a toss-up as to which one won. Microsoft, Nintendo, or Square Enix. Because really, they were so good and so close to each other in terms of who did what the best that it's pretty much take your pick. Which is your favorite? If you thought Square Enix was best, then Square Enix won E3. If you thought Nintendo was the best, then Nintendo won E3. If you thought Microsoft was the best, Microsoft won E3. But either way, it's going to be one of the three. Those three were so good this year that literally you could just pick one at random and be right.
Well, and here's my problem. I don't want to say, well, Microsoft can't do no wrong, but yet this year they only had like 60 games compared to what they had like 85 last year.
No. Last year they only had like 60 or 70 games, but you're right. They released 61 or 62, maybe even 65 games this year. It was 60 something, and
it was high up.
Yeah, it was high up, but you see, Microsoft's main claim to fame was a couple of things. One, they announced a new gaming console, which was fantastic, and they even announced a release date, winter of 2020.
Well, yeah, they say holiday 2020, but yeah.
Holiday 2020, yeah, you get the idea. Around Christmas time, which is great. Well, it's more than what we got for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, which we were hoping that it released like before holiday 2020.
Yeah, at least the Xbox version has got, in my opinion, better stats than the PlayStation 5, and on top of that, has its release date already, a rough release date. PlayStation 5, in my opinion, has, from what we've heard about, has a little bit weaker stats by just a smidgen than the new Microsoft console, and we don't even know when it's coming out yet. Yeah, we don't know what year.
Yeah, but I mean, we need to wrap this up right now. But let me just say this: we know when Project Scarlet is coming out. We don't know when PS5 is coming out. If I had to guess, they're probably going to come out late October, early November. That's probably the best time frame they could come out. Because it's right before it's right before Black Friday, and everybody's probably wanting it, and so it's going to be at least within that time frame. But for what games that we're going to have, that's the question. That's probably good for next year's E3, and we need to have a debate on that.
You're absolutely right, and you're also absolutely right that we need to wrap this up. So I'm going to wrap up a short summary of what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So basically, out of the three, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Square Enix. It's funny not saying Sony.
Yeah.
But Microsoft had the consoles. They had the Game Pass, the new Game Pass subscription, and they had quite a bit of games to announce. Then you have Square Enix, we're announcing finally release date and gameplay of Final Fantasy Remake, Final Fantasy VII, and filling the hole with Final Fantasy VIII, and then you got quite a few other things that going on, and then Nintendo running it home with top-notch titles, third parties galore, and the final two big ones being Banjo-Kazooie and Smash and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. So
So basically, it's take your pick.
Yeah. It's who you think that won. This is just our opinions. We're just two guys who give our 2 cents.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that all three of them did so phenomenally well. It's just a matter of personal taste at this point. Because regardless of which one you think did best, you wouldn't be wrong.
Oh yeah, it's everybody's personal opinion, and that's what we believe.
At least this year it was, because it was so close.
Well, yeah, I mean, without Sony, but yeah. So with that said and done, Stealth, thanks for chatting with me, and I need to go because my pizza needs to be thrown in the oven, and I need to eat
it. Pizza.
No, it's just a cheap pizza they keep in their freezer.
It's not pizza. It's DiGiorno.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. All right, see you, man.
DiGiorno. Oh, how I love DiGiorno.
Oh god.
Anyhow, all right, so that should wrap it up. Well,
yeah, let's wrap it up now.
This has been Stealth Bat
and Dozens of German Agent.
All right, catch you later.
See you, man.